Welcome to this week's episode of the Pull List Examiner. This is my weekly video where I take a look at the top 3 comics that I am looking forward to reading when it comes to New Comic Book Day. And this week's New Comic Book Day is going to be on August 9th, 2023. Both this week and last week, which I missed last week, was kind of a slim list, and not just for the books that I'm picking, but just for books in general. But there are a few books on my list, so check out the full pull list, everything I'm planning on picking up at the comic book shop this week, in the description of the video below. But let's take a look at the top 3 comics that I am looking forward to reading. And at number 3 this week, we have Star Wars Return of the Jedi, Max Rebo, issue number 1. There have been a bunch of these one-shot Return of the Jedi celebration issues that have been coming out, and the last one was a one-off story about Greedo. We've seen some other pretty cool one-off stories, and I have to say that it's really cool. They're taking that Return of the Jedi time frame and they're giving us some backstory that leads up to it, or some interesting one-off occurrences that happened at the same time, and I have to say it's been pretty fun to read. And this time we get Max Rebo, and I have no clue what this story is going to be about, and that really has piqued my interest. I'm not familiar with Max Rebo at all, and so it'll be kind of fun to see how they write this cool Star Wars story. If you're a Star Wars fan, I would recommend checking out some of these one-shots because they've just been fun to read. And at number 2 this week, we've got The Madness, coming from AWA Studios. This is one of my favorite comic book publishers that are out there. As far as indie publishers go, they're definitely top of my list. And J. Michael Straczynski, if I'm hopefully pronouncing his name correctly, is writing this title. He is a well-known comic book author, and let me read the synopsis. Let me grab the description here. It says, Sarah Ross has been using her power as a thief, stealing from the rich and, well, keeping it, until the day she stole from the wrong person, a highly placed official who pressures the government to assassinate her. The plot, aided by good superheroes sponsored by the government, misses her but wipes out her family. Driven by mad grief and laser focused on revenge for the murder of her family, Sarah and a hidden side of her personality, an imaginary friend who may be more real than she believes, goes after these superpowered operatives determined to take revenge at any cost. So I have to say, I saw this title show up as one of the new comics coming out this week, and I was kind of on the fence, and then I read through that synopsis and I was like, okay, this sounds like a really cool story. So it is a cool sounding story, something like maybe John Wick or Punisher meets the Avengers. You know, superpowers are involved here. We'll see what we get, but I'm really interested in finding out how the story is going to proceed, and it is now on my pull list. I think there's 6 issues total, so here we go. This week we will start with issue number 1 of The Madness. And at number 1 this week, we've got Barnstormers, issue number 2. This is something that is definitely different from most other comic books that are out there. It is not your normal superhero comic. It is not a sci-fi comic. It is a historical, fictional tale of intrigue and kind of like a film noir throwback to the 30s. You can kind of think of maybe like The Rocketeer or something like that. But this is written by Scott Snyder, an amazing author, and this is one of those series that he already published digitally. I think the last one was the series Clear, which I also really enjoyed reading. Scott Snyder is a great author, and I really like most of the stuff I've read by him. You couple that with Tula Lotay, who's doing the artwork on this, and the artwork is amazing, and you end up with a really great comic series that is not your normal comic series. So with that being said, if you haven't checked out issue 1, I recommend it. It's been a really good read. You've got a barnstorming pilot who crashes a wedding, and then the bride wants to run away with him into trouble, basically. So if you read the story, you may enjoy it too, but I know I am, so I have to recommend it and put it at my #1 for the week. So thanks for watching this week's episode of the Pull List Examiner. You can always find all the comics I'm going to be picking up in the description of the video below. I want to thank everyone for watching, and remember to read them, bag them, and board them, and we'll see you next time on the Pull List Examiner. Thanks.